Day 90 of AI blogging. Today, I want to jump straight into Google Search Console. We have 11,000 impressions for the content that we've created. Today is July 13th. The impressions that we're tracking here go out to Wednesday, July 12th. Inside of Google Search Console, the data is always at least a day behind. When you go and you look at things like the number of pages that are indexed, and the errors and getting those errors corrected, or when you think you've corrected those errors, like we talked about in the crawled, not currently indexed, and improving or trying to improve our post so that Google will recrawl them and then understand that we're making the content better. And then we have a chance of getting it to show up in the search results. One thing that I want to talk about that most people never get into is under settings. And then under settings, you have something called crawl stats. And you have a report. You can click open report. That'll open up your crawl stats report, and then there's tons of information in here. The only thing that you really need to know is that as your site gets bigger or grows, meaning that you add more content and Google needs to crawl it more often, then you'll need to look at this report to make sure that your hosting or your platform, in the case of what we're doing, we're using Groove, so we shouldn't have this problem. Or if you're paying someone for a blogging platform, you should never have a problem with this. But if you have something simple like inexpensive shared hosting, then this might become an issue. And what you can see here is the status. You can see the total crawl request, the total download size, and the average response of your site as Google sends out their spiders and their bots to crawl your content. Then you can see your host, and you can see the different responses, different file types, different purpose. For example, to refresh the content, or Google is doing a discovery. And then you have different type of Google bots, for example, desktop or smartphone. There's some other really technical stuff here that I'm not going to get into. But if you look under host, which is the main host, the main site that we're hosting our blog post on, which is universeunriddled.com, you can click in here, and at first glance, it looks to be the same thing. But if you click here on host status, you'll see here that we had no problems. It can get to our robots.txt, the DNS is working, and also our server connectivity is good to go. Now you go back to crawl stats here, the main page, and you scroll down to refresh or discovery. Click on discovery. You can see here the last time that it was crawling the site was 7/11. Then you see 7/10, then you see 7/9. So it is crawling it. But if you look at the data that it's giving you, again, it goes out to the last time it crawled it as of 7/11, 12:20 a.m. Again, in real time, today is July 13th. So this isn't a real time thing as far as when you're looking at the statistics versus what it's actually doing behind the scenes, like when it's trying to crawl, discover, and index your pages or your new post. So the thing to remember here is when you're looking at these statistics, the impressions that you're receiving, it's not real time. And just like when you go to pages and you look at these pages and you come down and you say, okay, crawled, currently not indexed. Then you scroll down and you look at the one we worked on the other day, how to get an asteroid named after you. And you click this little magnifying glass and it opens up and it's retrieving the data from the Google index. You can see here, even though it says in the pages, and we just worked on this yesterday, and we actually clicked this test live URL button and we requested indexing, you can see now that the URL is on Google. So did our changes make that happen, or was it already in the queue to be indexed? I'm not really sure, but we needed to make those changes to improve the content. I've clicked on the testing live URL button. You can see that this is a live test. This is you actually interacting inside of Google Search Console and clicking a button and telling Google or asking Google to go out and actually look at what's out there on the URL. Then you can see here it was tested July 13th, 2023, 10:14 a.m. as of me shooting this video. Then you can click here, view tested page. It'll show you the HTML, and it'll also give you a screenshot. And of course you can scroll down here. It's not going to show you the entire page, but we had a link here. We had that internal link, that rich anchor text that we replaced. It's gone now. You can also click more info and it gives you the information here, more detailed sort of techie information. And of course, if you don't understand something, you can always go to YouTube and you can watch a video. Then what you can do is you can ask your chat buddy using the VoxScript plugin. This is a plugin that we don't really use here in this case study to create content for the blog. But this is part of the case study, is understanding how to use ChatGPT to help you understand the things that you need to know to improve your blog. So VoxScript is going out and pulling down a summary of this video. So then I can hit the highlights without watching the video. Then I can understand things like crawl demand, crawl rate, crawl budget. And then again, understand that if you're using, and I don't see any problems with Groove pages, so we don't have any issue there. So I don't need to open up any tickets to support. And here in day 90, we're really not pushing the limits of what I would consider or what I would think or even ever really consider to be the limits of what Google would be pushing on the hosting that we're provided with Groove, or even a shared hosting, something we're paying $7 a month for. But go back here because I want to ask another question now that VoxScript and ChatGPT have pulled down that video transcript. Were there any mentions of new sites and how long it takes to get a new page crawled and indexed? Because that's what we're interested in. Now you can see the answer that it got here, or that we got here. The video does not specifically mention how long it takes for a new site or page to get crawled and indexed by Google. However, it does discuss the concept of crawl demand, which refers to how much the content is desired by Google. This is affected by URLs that haven't been crawled by Google before and by Google's estimation of how often the content changes on the URL. The video also explains that Google uses crawlers to visit website addresses, read the information on them, and follow links on those pages. The crawlers revisit pages already in the list to check if they have changed and also crawl new pages they discovered during this process. Crawl purpose is another concept mentioned in this video, which could be either discovery when a URL is new to Google, or refresh for a recrawl of a known page. We took a look at both of those inside of Google Search Console, but however, this video does not provide a specific timeline, and no one really knows for when a new site or page will be crawled and indexed. This process can vary based on a number of factors, including the site's crawl rate, crawl demand, and crawl budget, among other things. Now, over at Google Search Console, documentation and in-depth guide to how Google search works. This page was mentioned in the video. So in that same ChatGPT session that I'm having with my AI assistant to get a better understanding of this entire process and crawl stats and why they matter and how they matter and the things that I should be aware of as a beginner blogger on day 90, looking at creating content for 100 days and not really getting too deep into the weeds. I just want to know what I need to know. So I asked ChatGPT to please summarize this as it applies to the video. The linked document provides an in-depth guide to how Google search works, which can be broken down into 3 stages: crawling, indexing, and serving search results. Crawling. Google uses software known as web crawlers to explore the web regularly and find pages to add to its index. The program that does the fetching is called Googlebot. Indexing. After a page is crawled, Google tries to understand what the page is about. This process includes processing and analyzing the textual content, content tags, and attributes. Google determines if a page is a duplicate of another page on the internet or canonical. The canonical is the page that may be shown in search results. Google also collects signals about the canonical page and its contents, which may be used in the next stage where the page is served in search results. However, not every page that Google processes will be indexed. Indexing also depends on the content of the page and its metadata. Number 3 is what we're interested in after we get crawled, indexed, serving search results. When a user enters a query, Google's machines search the index for the matching pages and returns the results that are believed to be of the highest quality and most relevant to the user's query. Relevancy is determined by hundreds of factors, including the user's location, language, and device. Search features that appear on the search results page also change based on the user's query. In the context of the video, the very first video that we reviewed about this process of Google crawling or Google bots, this document further emphasizes the importance of Google's crawling and indexing process. It also highlights that Google doesn't accept payment to crawl a site more frequently or rank it higher, meaning you can't pay to rank higher or get Google to crawl your content. Of course, you can always pay for ads. If a page follows the Google Search Essentials, it doesn't guarantee that it will be crawled, indexed, or served. The document also mentions that Google is always working on improving its algorithm, and changes can be tracked by following the Google Search Central blog. Again, this is day 90. We got kind of geeky there, but it's part of the process. It's part of what we're trying to accomplish. Of course, we're throwing as much content up as we can by having the AI generate it for us. And we have got indexed and we are ranking, but we need to understand things like this. Just take a look at them, be aware of them so we know what's coming next as we head out to day 100 and then day 100 and beyond. Beyond is as we keep trying to make the site better and actually generate revenue from it, whether that is as an affiliate marketer or putting up paid ads or collecting leads and building an email list, all these things that we can do from the process or from getting started with the process of creating content, getting it indexed, and getting it ranked. If this video was helpful, as well as this case study so far here in day 90, thumbs up, and I appreciate it. Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in tomorrow's update. Bye.